John Hamm was a 34-year-old journeyman hunk television actor who had been kicking around Los Angeles for more than 10 years when he tried out for Mad Men in 2006. No one who saw him on NBC's Providence or ABC's What About Brian or Lifetime's The Division guessed that he would go on in the guise of 1960s ad man Don Draper, née Dick Whitman, to embody old-school masculinity for 21st century viewers. More important, he had yet to prove that he could go dark, that beneath his handsome exterior lay an understanding of suffering and the skill to put it across to audiences. As far back as 2000, Mad Men creator Matthew Weiner had been thinking deeply about his show's flawed hero, a polished executive who has risen to success under an assumed name, and he knew Hamm was right for the part early in the audition process. The executives were slow to see it, however, and the actor had to endure numerous callbacks. "I had to audition a lot," Hamm says, in the 34th floor lounge of the Mandarin Oriental Hotel, not far from the New York apartment he shares with his girlfriend of 16 years, the actor, writer, director Jennifer Westfeldt, and a 13-year-old shepherd mix named Cora. "I was not a proven commodity. I had to win it, and I did. It took a long time for everybody to get on board. I don't think the director, Alan Taylor, wanted me at the beginning. I know the network didn't. Matt was the only one." Once he had signed on for the part, Hamm had a celebratory dinner with Weiner at Café Luxembourg, near Lincoln Center. After the meal, walking out of the restaurant, they ran into playwright Tony Kushner, who told Weiner he was excited about the show. "I was like, wow, this is crazy," says Hamm. Weiner remembers the moment too. "I joked to John that I had paid for that interaction to take place." Then their work began in earnest. A 10-minute walk, Hamm says, and Matt told me the whole story of Don Draper. I was like, are we in a Dickens novel? I told him the whole story, Weiner says. Part of it was me realizing that he needed to know, and part of me wanted to try the story out on somebody who was invested in it. I was really on my own at that point. I wanted to see his reaction, which was a scary thing to do. Now Mad Men has entered its 7th and final season, which AMC has decided to break into 2 7-episode cycles. The first will end May 25, and the second in the late spring of 2015. Hamm spent the first week of April at Los Angeles Center Studios in downtown LA, just a block from where he waited tables in the 1990s. He was working on an episode that will air in the spring of 2015. "We finished the first 7 in February," Hamm says, "and we'll finish the last 7 probably the beginning of July, and then that will be it, the end of something." On Saturday morning, Hamm boarded an American Airlines flight bound for New York. He and Westfeldt have a rule not to spend more than 2 weeks apart, which means that, like Don Draper in Season 7, Hamm is bicoastal. "One or the other of us has to make the flight," he says. "It helps. Physical presence is a big part of it." On this particular April weekend, he was going to see Westfeldt as she was getting her footing in The Library, a new play directed by Steven Soderbergh at the Public Theatre in New York. He took a seat on the plane in the last row of first class. He scrolled through the movie choices and noticed The Act of Killing, a recent documentary chronicling the mid-1960s genocide that took place in Indonesia. His friend Bill Hader, the former Saturday Night Live cast member, had recommended it to him, and Hamm trusts Hader, an avid cinephile in such matters, and so he went ahead and selected it, although the subject matter seemed a bit heavy for plane fare. He couldn't look away. A female flight attendant, concerned by his anguished expression, kept stopping by to check on him. By the end of the film, he was shaken and weeping. In an attempt to scrub The Act of Killing from his mind, he dialed up the animated comedy Despicable Me 2, which he liked a lot. As the credits rolled, there was still more flight time to go, so he ordered Frozen, the animated musical from Disney. Now the flight attendant saw a famous 43-year-old man entranced by a movie intended for little girls. He liked Frozen so much that he texted Westfeldt from the plane, telling her she had to see it. His iPhone was blowing up with mocking texts from his friends. TMZ had posted footage of his appearance on a 1996 episode of a USA Network show called The Big Date, and a clip of the floppy-haired 25-year-old Hamm was making the internet rounds.